8 directions of off balancing, which we call Happo No Kuzushi. He's got 2 directions that I want to kind of focus on, front and back. And he's got 2 more this way, side to side, which is 4. We're looking at 8. So then he's got 2 more that go to the rear. And then 2 more that'll come to my front and to the left. Okay, Happo No Kuzushi. Forms of off balancing in 8 directions. Now we were already working on Oso Higari to some speed, or Oso Otoshi. This is one of the directions that I'm looking at. When you guys start thinking about the directions of off balancing, if I just push him straight back, he's not going anywhere. Very hard for me, takes a lot of muscle. But if I think in terms like Mr. Ramazo was talking about the intent and the direction where I want to take him, if I take him where he can't catch up with his feet, very easy to move. Okay? So another application of this is I'm just going to get both hands on a gi and I'm going to move him around and I'm going to play with to the corner, to this corner, shift him back to this corner. Push him straight back, it's a little more effort, but then I'll change it again and it becomes easy. So when you start to work your off balancing, you have all of these directions that you're trying to get him to move to. Okay? And it makes your nage really easy. If you understand where you want to be throwing him. Okay? Stand at attention basically. Okay? I want you to lean forward without bending your knees. And see how far you actually have to go before you actually feel like you have to go forward. It's not much, is it? Okay? Try it again, now go directed to the rear. If your little toes come off the ground, you're off balance enough for me to throw you. It doesn't take much. Okay? Now same thing, side to side. Probably get a little bit more before you feel like you're off balance, right? Because you're still within your framework of your shoulders and your hips down to your feet. They haven't gone outside your feet, outside edge of your feet. Okay, now it becomes a little more difficult. Bend forward, bend to a 10 o'clock or 2 o'clock. See how much easier it becomes as you get off balance in those directions? Same thing to the rear. Okay, basically 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 6 o'clock if you're like working on a clock dial. Right? So those are the things when I think about off balancing or Kuzushi, those are the things that I want to try and manipulate my opponent or my attacker in those easy access points for me to off balance him. Okay? So we're going to do a little drill again. Okay, basically, I'm going to try and off balance him, and he's just going to try and stand and keep his balance. I'm going to work those directions. Not so much this way, back and forth. That'll work, but not so much. Okay? So I want you guys to just get a grip and feel those directions of off balancing as it pertains to an individual. Don't muscle, because it's not really intended for that right now. It's basically just finding where I want to take him with one hand. That's all I need. If I go to the proper angles. I'm going to make my application just like I did before from the front. This is more of a 50-50 application where I can move him around, he can move me around. And it has a lot of fun applications to it if you've got a couple of people that are skilled and they know what they're doing. But what I want to do is I want to make this where you guys actually understand the off balancing and why it works, because number one, you can see it, and number two, you can feel it. Okay, so I'm going to change this a little bit. I'm just going to have him stand in this direction. I'm going to be off to the side. I'm going to get my lapel grip, and I'm going to get my lapel grip, and he's going to do the same. But I'm going to work from the side. Because now when I work the off balancing, my intent is to work to those weak angles, which automatically puts him in a weak angle and makes it easy for me to understand where I'm trying to go. So off balance, you see where his body goes automatically, right? Also at the guard. Okay, it's a very static technique, but I want you guys to visualize where I want to be working for the off balance, the intent. I float him, he's off balance. I fit in. Okay? Same thing, Ippan Nage. So you see the floating application for this, right? You guys understand?
Yes, sir. Right.
Okay, so once again, if I stay to the front, I can work also Tagari, but you don't get a lot of little subtleties of that, right? So let's work it from the side. Basically, making my attachment, because I want to be able to see the off balance and change direction. So I'm working to the rear. Everybody understand that throw? Want to give it a try? I want you guys to be able to visualize and see the off balance of it. Because when I do that from the front, like I talked about before, when you start doing this, you do it so fast and so smooth, you don't see the little subtleties of it. You don't see the floating and sticking of the foot, taking the space away and driving, and then still working this angle so that when I come through, I can sweep him away. Okay, so I try to do this more off to the side. It's not textbook, but it's getting you guys to visualize the 8 directions. Because then later on, when you do square up, it's already in the brain. I know I'm going to go that way, I'm going to go that way, I'm going to go that way, or this way. Okay? So they're not going to be real pretty, but they will be effective when you start working the proper angles. Okay? Okay? Same thing when you start working on your Ippan Nage. Same thing. I'm not going to stand in the front because I want to understand the Kuzushi part of this. So I'm going to start off to the side. Ippan Nage. See the float? There's the off balance.